Hi there, I'm Jason Hales. Welcome to Acoustic Corner, interviews with Acoustic Blend Cafe. My guest today has been performing for most of his life. From his humble beginnings in Northern Ontario to venues across North America, Ireland, England, and Wales, he has been bringing his unique rhythm and blues sound, entertaining audiences to rave reviews. The sound setting him apart is said to combine bass lines of Motown, vocals from Stax Records, and a solid electrifying horn section. He was nominated for Blues Recording of the Year at the 2009 Hamilton Awards, voted Best Rhythm and Blues Album of 2009 by Blues Underground Network, voted Best CD by the Hamilton Blues Lovers, nominated for Blues Recording of the Year and Instrumental Recording of the Year for the 2012 Hamilton Music Awards, and nominated Overseas Artist of the Year for the British Blues Awards. In 2015, he released his sixth studio album called Left with the Blues. He graced the stage at ABC in 2012 for his first acoustic show with us. Now we are excited to have Andre Bisson back. Welcome to Acoustic Corner, Andre.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now, you grew up in the small northwestern Ontario town of Bruce Mines. Not where one would expect to find R&B. Mm-hmm. How does a guy from Bruce Mines get interested in rhythm and blues?
It was actually a bass player that I played with. We were doing a couple shows, and he had given me a CD of just songs, commitments, Otis Redding, that kind of thing. And he said, I think you should, I think you'd be really good at this style, and that you might like it. So I listened to it and just loved it, and then started gathering a collection of that kind of music, and the band that I had there had a horn section, and that kind of hooked me onto that. And then soon after that, then I moved here to Hamilton and went to Mohawk College and started studying music there, where there was tons of musicians and horn players, and it kind of just took off from there.
Right. So you were in high school still when you were introduced, or elementary school?
No, high school. Yeah.
High school?
So I started a bit later than most. I didn't start playing music till actually I was about 15, I think, and then I just pretty much only did that.
Right. It hooked you. You got hooked.
Yeah. And then and right away I started playing, playing shows and playing in bands and things like that. And,
was there a big music scene?
That was kind of the advantage. There wasn't a big music scene in the area in terms of lots of musicians, but there's a lot of music lovers. So I was at an advantage because there was only a handful of bands and a lot of people that wanted to see music. So I was very lucky, and I had a lot of people, especially in the early days, supporting me at that time. So it was great to have that support, early on. So it was nice because I was playing a lot, even these small towns. Sometimes you end up getting there's not as much going on as there is in the big city. So when you do a show, you get a lot of support from the local people.
Right. So you would play places like in Thessalon or Sault Ste. Marie and
all that whole area, through Bruce Mines, and just shows and things similar to what we're doing here. You know
right.
what I mean? The church is doing that, and I actually started acoustically. It was just me and acoustic guitar, singing tunes. So it's coming full circle now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You studied music at Mohawk College and were involved with different groups there. Can you tell us a bit about your time at Mohawk?
So I went to Mohawk, right after school, and I took they had two programs. They had the prep program, which was a year, which was a great program because it kind of caught me up. I didn't know a lot theoretically through music. I just kind of learned by ear. So that was a great program to really teach you that, and to see if you really wanted to do music as a career. So I did that program, and then after that I went right into the 3-year program and studied jazz vocals, as well as I did a little bit of trumpet as well when I was there. I was in a couple of sawmills in the big band, which is great. So and that just helped me, learn a lot about writing music for different instruments and doing all the arranging like I do now. So I definitely have that time at Mohawk to thank for being able to do everything that we do now in the arranging and things like that. So it was great. Yeah.
Sounds like it was a great time there.
Yeah, it was a lot of music all the time. It's great.
You have a varied style and sound compared to most rhythm and blues bands. You can slide in with traditional smooth and gritty sound, but you can also get funky and have a clean, upbeat sound while keeping it all within the realm of R&B. How do you achieve this?
I think it's not something I think about too much. I think I just always play what we like, and you know what I mean. And when you have the instrumentation, I think of those and the influences, right? So all the influences, a lot of the artists that were influenced by, you know, I mean, whether it's James Brown or even Van Morrison, who was great at doing that and kind of keeping everything within the same genre. So, you know, I think that's probably the way. I guess it's not something I think about too much. It just kind of happens organically that way, I guess.
Right? Yeah. It's because there were some reviews out there talking about people being surprised at the wide variety of sound and styles that you guys play. So I think that helps to set you apart.
Yeah, I guess, and when the more songs you have and the more, you know, more variety you have, the better the show is for people. You know what I mean? You can play, we always kind of play to the crowd. You know what I mean? If we say they're really into the funkier stuff, then we have 20 songs that we can do that are funkier. Or if they're really into the soul stuff or just straight up blues stuff, then we can kind of do that. So I find it for myself more interesting to have 100 or 150 songs to choose from.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just for us playing, when you're playing all the time, it's nice to be able to change it up.
Just last year, you released your 6th album, Left with the Blues. Compared with your previous albums, what sets this one apart?
This one has a little more production to it, which you'll see at the show coming up. We've added a string section and background vocals and things like that. So just bigger, basically. Whereas before, the band was still fairly big, so 11 or 12 piece band on the other records. But what we've done is we've taken some songs, and we have some songs that are a 21 piece band. We have, you know,
wow, 21 pieces.
Yeah, so you have three strings, you know what I mean, brass section with a horn section, you know, background vocals, you know, bass drums, guitar, piano, organ, all that stuff. And then we have one song that's a big band set, so we have a 15-piece brass section backed up by a rhythm section, you know, big band style. So
wow,
so it was just kind of really, and for me it was just kind of like to really expand that arranging kind of thing. As well as
you do all the arranging for all the songs?
That's right. Yeah. So I sit down and it starts with one idea and it builds from there. And then the song can sometimes just build around the fact that I want to get better at, you know, playing for strings. So I'm just going to write something that uses, you know, features a string section.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Now, when you write your songs, are you also open for people to suggest, hey, you should throw this in there and
Yeah, I mean, if somebody, you know, and that's definitely happened before, or, you know, we used Jesse O'Brien on a lot of, on the last 3 records, actually, and he's always been great to come in and suggest things that I would have never thought of, you know, I mean, and that's the thing, too, you know, you have somebody, again, like him who plays piano, you know what I mean, I have limited piano experience, but when he can come in with, like, how about, you know, if we use the Rhodes keyboard on this, and
right.
So sometimes things where I would have never thought that would have worked, and then you put something down and go, that's perfect, that's exactly what it needs. So that can be, you know, there's always room for that, and I think it's always good as an arranger to be open to ideas, and I always go, like, let's try it, and, you know, if it doesn't work, then we won't use it, but at least we have it, but if it does, then, you know what I mean, then great, you know, so.
That's awesome. Last time you played for Acoustic Blank Cafe, you had to change it up to play acoustic. Was it hard to switch, and does it change the way you perform the songs?
It does a little bit, you know what I mean? There's a certain, you know, maybe, you know, you're not as intense, you're not as loud and things like that. So I think you're a little more exposed. I think you have to be, so mentally you have to kind of prepare yourself that way, you know? But again, because I started, you know, with just an acoustic guitar and singing.
Right.
It was kind of like, again, like coming back to that. So, you know what I mean? So it was familiar to me to, you know, and as well as I do acoustic shows where it's just solo or duo stuff. So, so it wasn't completely foreign, you know what I mean? But it was a bit of an adjustment and you know, we definitely had to have rehearsals saying, okay, how are we going to approach this song? Because again, we had an upright bass as well. And you're kind of making sure you're playing to that. And that's what we're doing with the show coming up, where we're really making sure everything's completely catered to it. Changing the arrangements to some songs, or bringing in some songs on the records that we couldn't do because they had strings. So we can actually make them, we can make them more authentic to to the actual record.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's really cool with that. And then changing some versions, which is always neat, even if there's a couple cover tunes, being able to actually make them sound more like a record by bringing the strings and the background vocals. You know what I mean? So it'll be, so we're kind of like, I'm really arranging just for this show. You know what I mean? To really have the acoustic vibe, the full, you know, and as well as the room is a great sounding room for acoustically. You know? So you really want to take advantage of that as well, and just really, you know what I mean? So the people listening can really take in and hear every instrument and really, you know what I mean? Really learn to appreciate and hear like the strings and the background vocals and things like that, you know, so.
It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
it. You grew up in Bruce Mines, and since going to Mohawk, you've called Hamilton home. What is it about the city and the Hamilton music scene that you like?
Well, I think it's just the sense of community here. And it's building more and more, it seems, even from 10 years ago to now, you know, and Hamilton's getting on the map, and people are moving from Toronto and coming here.
Right,
you
they
know
are.
What I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's great. I think people are starting to really kind of hear about it, and I think, and even I know even as we've played in the UK, sometimes, you know, radio stations will say like, oh, we keep hearing about this place, Hamilton. You know what I mean?
Really? Over in the UK?
Yeah, because, you know, because they'll hear, because they'll have like Steve Strom and stuff like in our genre, and they'll hear our stuff and they'll kind of go, this name Hamilton keeps popping up. So they're not saying, oh, you're just near Toronto. They're saying specifically, you were hearing about Hamilton and the musicians coming out of Hamilton. You know what I mean? And so we're more and more on the map, and it's building more and more. And I think the passion that the musicians have. It's very similar to, you know, when we went to Nashville and you see all the musicians and all the places you go, and everybody's playing and everybody's working together and doing shows together and things like that. So I really enjoy that kind of sense of community and just the location and just the city in general, and the fact that I like that you can be in the middle of the city and there's trails and you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, which reminds me of home. And I came in, and from Sault Ste. Marie was a steel town as well. So I mean, so
that's correct.
You know what I mean? So going kind of from steel town to steel town and all the one-way streets, and you know what I mean? So it was nice. It was kind of like, you know, if there's any place that's away from home that feels like home, it would be Hamilton, you know, so.
Great. So what's next for Andre Bisson and the rhythm and blues experience?
Well, right now we have, we're gearing up for the summertime. We're doing in July and August, we're doing about a three-week tour across Canada. So we're going to go all the way up. I know we have stuff booked all the way up until Edmonton. And then we end in Ottawa, I think, is, you know what I mean? So we're kind of doing the loop, and we might get some stuff in BC as well, but we're kind of taking the show on the road and just really promoting the new record. So we'll do that into August, and then in the fall and September we have another tour in the UK. So we'll be there for about 10 days, doing some shows there as well.
10 days. So yeah, and it's all festival work in the UK?
Some festivals, some concert series things, you know what I mean? So they have a lot of really great clubs where they put on, concert series throughout the week. So it's great. We can kind of be playing every day, and we've been there several times, so we have a good following, and we know a lot of people and a lot of good friends and people. So it's always nice going back. You know what I mean? You know, you're always kind of going back and visiting friends as well. You know, when you're there. So yeah, so it should be great. It'll be good.
Sounds like interesting and fun times coming up.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you very much for coming in and doing this interview.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
This is Jason Hales for Acoustic Corner, interviews with Acoustic Blank Cafe. Come and see Andre May 14th this year.